Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Golden Lion FX. It is exactly 17 minutes to 5, 20th of October 2024 as I'm recording this. So today guys, I'm going to be diving into a very serious topic that every trader, regardless of which strategy you use, this topic I'm going to discuss today really concerns everyone, and that is news trading. So this news trading affects forex currencies. Whichever pair you trade, news always affects it, unless you're trading indices and other stocks like that. But even the stocks, so this is a very critical video that everyone should watch till the end. So please, would you like and subscribe and follow for more videos? So we shall go straight away. We shall open up our browser and then we type in forexfactory.com. There are two sites which normally provide good news, that is Forex Factory and investing.com, but I always prefer Forex Factory because of reasons which I won't give. But of course, it is also obvious that Forex Factory is a very simple platform that everyone could use and easy to understand. So I will start by going back, because now I want us to understand how the news work, how they affect the market, and when exactly. So guys, you can see we have different colors, different badges. You can see there is a yellow, there is brown, there is also red, there is also gray, as I'll be showing you. So all of these impact the currency in a different manner. So for example, for this one which has a red, that one of GBP, that one implies that it has high impact. So that means that at that time, you know the calendar is arranged in such a way that it shows time, it shows the currency pair which is going to be affected, it shows the badge or the impact onto which is going to be affecting the currency, and also it indicates the news or the title of the news, and then there are also the results. Okay, so you can see, for example, for GBP, that red badge, so BOE government barely speaks. So that means now at exactly 4:25 p.m. that news will be released, and when it is released, that means that it surely has to impact the pair GBP USD. Okay, so then we try to ask ourselves, how do I know the impact of each one of these? Guys, this, I'm warning you, this is going to be kind of a long video because I want to explain how to trade the news fully. Okay, so would you please hold on as I explain each and everything here. So you can see different types of like the different impacts that different news causes. If you scroll down on this very website, you'll find actually the descriptions of what is happening up there. Okay, for example, the red badge that shows high impact expected. That means that if that news is released, a high impact is expected to affect each and every pair that includes that currency. Okay, then brown is a medium impact, then yellow is low impact, and then gray is none impact. So those ones is more or less like they do nothing much. And then when the results are released, in case the number is green, that means it is better for that currency or forecast. I will be explaining more. When it is red, that means that it is not good for that currency. In other words, the forecast didn't come out as expected. Then wherever we will find that means month over month. Where you find QQ, quarter over quarter, and then where you find YY, that is Y over. In other words, if you find that means that kind of news is released every month, okay, or per month. All right, exactly. Then where you find the values that will be giving in Ks, trillions, billions, those will be abbreviated by K, T, also B, okay, depending. So let me go back in time. That is last week, which started from 13th of October, and we can see that for the previous week the news really were released. Actually, they were released, so we can see now that there are values beside this news. There are red, there is green, there is black. So each one of them implicates or points to something, okay? Just like how we read before, that in case it is in red, in case the results are in red, that means that the value didn't come out as expected. Therefore, it is not good for that currency. For example, that GBP, that we got 27.9. That means that it wasn't good for GBP when it was released at 9 a.m. at that time. All right, it's just the same thing, even whether yellow, whether brown, whether whichever, as long as it is released, that's what we expect. So to change, you see we had a lot of noise the other side. So to remove some of that noise, we sieve out. So there is that filter sign up there that I tapped, which brought me actually here. So the reason as why I'm here to filter out what I don't need, okay? So I will only leave marked the things that I will need. For example, I don't need non-impact news. I don't need less impact news. I don't need to know much about it, because those ones are not going really to move the market vigorously, okay? Also, you can come for the pairs also, and you change, you only leave ticked those news which affect the pairs which you trade, okay? For example, me, I'm always interested in gold, that is XAU USD, and then maybe GBP, maybe GBP USD, GBP JPY, okay? But majorly those are the ones that I'm interested in. In case you also want to tap or to select or to receive only specific news, you can also check the boxes of event types, all right? So that you leave only the things that you want. Then you apply the filter. So when I apply the filter, now you can see that the news has now it is actually clear, okay? The noise has reduced, all right? I only have brown and red, okay? In other words, I only have those that can impact the news, the pairs that I'm going to be trading, all right? Yes. So when you tap each one of them, when you tap on the news, it will show you the actual, the forecast, and the previous one, all right? Now, the previous one, in case the news are not yet released, you won't see the actual. But in case the news is released, you'll be in position to see the actual. In other words, they compare the forecast against the previous to determine the actual. When the actual is released, to determine its color or its expectation, that's what you do. Now, for example, here you can see these ones. This is for the upcoming week. You can see that there are no data series. That means that one doesn't have values, all right? It is not numerical, all right? In other words, even when the news are released, they don't have values. You won't see any red, you won't see any nothing, okay? maybe these ones which have the previous and then the forecast. Those ones are the numerical news that we expect when the result is released. It will either be red or green or black, okay, depending on the expectation and the actual outcome, right? That is it. So you have also to understand that when we are trading news, all right, for pairs that end with USD, I mean for XXUSD, okay, in case the news is not good for them, they sell or they go bear, they go bearish, all right? And then for the news that when the news comes out and it is not good for that pair, let's say for example for a USD, all the pairs, in case then if you see for example have pairs like USD JPY, USD CAD, all right? Now in case the news comes out or the news is released at that time, okay, if it is released and at that time it is green, that means it is good for that USD, all right? And that means that all the pairs that start with USD will buy, all right? They will go bull, all right? And that is the power of the what? Of the news. At that very moment when it is released like this, it shows that it is good for that pair. Therefore, all the pairs that start with USD, maybe USD CAD, maybe USD USD JPY, anything that is USD XXX will buy, and anything with the XXUSD will do what? Will sell. Alright, so that's how we use the news to predict what is actually going to happen in the market, right? Okay, so we move on, guys. I will remind you again to please kindly subscribe, like and share my YouTube channel. Also to comment down in the comment section in case of any questions that you have that you would want to know about Forex, and also in case you have any topic that you wish I would make a video about to explain to you guys, please feel free to comment down and then I'll reply. All right, so one thing, guys, I want to inform you is that trading the news is actually an indicator, okay? News trading is an indicator. So in case you have not yet entered the position, okay, like in case let's say the news is at 3:30 and let's say before 3 you have not yet entered the market or you're not yet in profits, okay, it's always advisable to enter after the news is released. You don't need to enter at 3:29 when the news is at 3:30. That is so risky, guys. That is so risky unless you really have money that you wish to lose, okay? Oh, and you know the things. You know the things. It is either a win or a loss, okay? Or it is either a win or a lesson. Either way, we are gaining, all right? So guys, for example, let's continue with our lesson, but that is an important point there to note, all right? You should not forget about that. So let's consider, for example, this Thursday on 24th of October, we are expecting news about USD, that is unemployment claims, at exactly 3:30 p.m. okay? So we are expecting, the forecast is 243k, all right? But then for the previous one it was 241, all right? So we are waiting for the actual. So in other words, at exactly 3:30, that is when we expect this actual box to be filled, this space down here to be filled, okay? And then when it is filled and it is good for the pair or for the currency USD, then we know what to do, guys. We know that all the pairs that end with USD have to do what? In case it is good for the USD, all the pairs that end with USD have to sell, and all the pairs that begin with USD have to buy. That is in case it is good for the USD. So guys, we can see there is a kind of a folder here. So when you tap that folder, it actually gives you more details of that news, what it actually impacts, and how does it impact. Why do we care as traders to know about it, or to know about the results? Then also down here you can see the results of the previous forecast, as in for the history. All right, okay. So if we look at the previous week, for example, I want guys to give you an illustrative example. We see exactly how these things happen. All right, so for example, last week on Thursday, that is October 17th, all right, we had news at about 3:30 p.m. exactly. We had core retail sales, all those which are released monthly. We had unemployment claims and all the others. But you can see, guys, that all of them were green, with exception of the unemployment claims, which came out as a neutral. Okay, so whenever we see green, we have said that for such a case, it means that all the pairs that end with USD have to go bearish. Okay, at that time they have to go bearish, and all the pairs that start with USD, they have to go bullish. Okay, they have to go bullish. So I want to illustrate this to illustrate it on TradingView. I want to do the back testing, guys, so that I can show you how it actually happened at that very moment, using our very own strategy. Okay, PPMA. I love that strategy, man, because of very many things, guys. I've told you it is always, a step ahead. So guys, I'll go straight to my TradingView and open up gold. So this is a chart for H4. Okay, this is chart H4. So we'll move to 1 hour, because now our interest is that date, which is 17th, that Thursday. All right, the news on that Thursday. Okay, that is 17th of October. So that is the very news that we want to see. How did the price react at that very instant when it was released at 3:30 p.m. Okay, me, I'm in the East African zone, so at 3:30 I want to see what happened to price at that very time. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to do here, only to go back to ensure that we are in the what? We are at the right time. That is 3:30. So I might have to go back a little bit because here it is 10 a.m. That is 11. That is okay. 9:30. So the news was released at 3:30, right? So that means now our aim is to make sure before that time we analyze the markets with regards to our strategy. Okay, that is what I was telling you guys. You don't just enter just because you have seen the thing is green or red. Okay, you enter with a setup. Okay, so we can see here a bullish momentum based on BBMA strategy, because the candlestick closed outside of the upper band, so that is called bullish momentum. So whenever that happens, we always ensure to wait for price to come back at a re-entry zone. Okay, now it is at the re-entry zone that we enter. So we can clearly see, even in our H4 time frame, we had also momentum, or someone could call it CSA. The CSA happens when we have a candle close outside of the Mahi or the Malo, right? So you can see the green candle. Now this one is a momentum. Okay, when we had momentum, we had a entry there, and then price hit our first TP. Okay, and then later on, that is TP1. Okay, as always, you can use the Mahi as always your TP1, or you can use the previous high as your TP. Okay, TP2, and probably you can use also the thingy for TP3. So price came, you can use the upper Bollinger Band for TP3. So price came back down for a entry at EMA 50, and then it shot up until it made another momentum right here. So it again came back for an entry. So price always repeats the very same thing, all right? Same thing as always. Then after entry, price made CSA. Okay, CSA setup is when the MA when the price closes outside of Mahi. So even for this, we expect price to come back for entry at this very point. Okay, so having seen that, and we know that news is going to happen today, we scroll down to the lower time frames. Okay, so in other words, for time frame 1, that is H4, we have already seen that we are expecting an entry. That means time frame 1 is equal to R. We have already gotten R. So in other words, we now slope down to time frame 2 to either see extreme or MLV. Okay, we have not yet seen that, so we shall hold on until we see a pattern form, because remember, we have codes, as I told you guys. We have codes. Okay, whenever we see an entry, we have a code that we follow. Okay, that is REE, REM, RRE, and also RME. Okay, so those are the 4 codes that we basically use here. Okay, so in other words, in our time frame 2, that is H1, we are either expecting to see something like an extreme, or we need to see either a rejection, because we have already seen price already has momentum, denoted by that blue candle. So the moment we see momentum, we wait for a re-entry. Okay, wait for a re-entry. But guys, you see, we can never enter price without confirmation. Never enter the market without confirmation. So you see, for example, right there we had a re-entry. Okay, but then in case you go to the lower time frame, because now price will always tell you if it is going to respect that place or not. Okay, so for a code such as REE, we shall expect an extreme on the second time frame, or a rejection on the second time frame, and then an extreme on the third time frame. Okay, so if we see a momentum, we wait for a re-entry. Okay, and then for the re-entry, especially this code REE is most common whenever we have news. Okay, it is the most common combination always whenever we have news upcoming, whereby price has an entry in the upper time frame, that is time frame 1. It has an extreme in the second time frame, and then it has also an extreme in the third time frame. So it's like if you sloped here for the third time frame. Okay, that is M15 for gold. You see that price made momentum right here. Okay, it made momentum, but then we need confirmation for the time frame 1. Okay, remember always, guys, this is so important, that price always, what you see in the higher time frame is built up by lower time frame. If you have studied how to sum up candles, it is the lower time frame that supports the high time frame. Okay, so in other words, if I don't see the signs of reversal in the lower time frame, then I don't enter. Okay, I have no reason to enter. Why should I? Okay, so let's move down to our time frame 3, because now the news was approaching this. You can see here it is 2:30 p.m. and the news is at 3:30. Okay, 3:30. So if we drop down to time frame 3, that is M15, we need to see an extreme if we are to do a entry of H4. Okay, if price is to respect H4, we have to see an extreme. And now if we go to M15, you can see that right now it was only 15 minutes to 3:30. Okay, and now when the news was released at 3:30, this is what happened. Price rejected the EMA 50. Okay, in other words, since all the news, as we saw the other side on Thursday, it was all green mostly. Okay, so that's why price had to sell at that point to reject the EMA 50. Okay, because remember our code is REE. We need to see rejection in our second time frame and also rejection in the third time frame. All right, so in the next 15 minutes, okay, that is when we are supposed to have the news. Okay, so this candle was the last candle was at 3:15 p.m. okay, but then we have not yet seen a rejection in our second time frame and also nothing yet in our third time frame. So therefore we don't take any trade yet. For those who are trading QM, there would be sure, because there is a QM there, that would mean that for their case they will have scoped their stop losses. Okay, the stop loss hunter would have hunted them. That's why for us BBMA is very it is very rare for you to for price to hunt for your what, because we know when price is going to react, how it is going to react, and we know how far it can go, as in to look for stop loss. That is the most thing I love about BBMA. So it is very hard to hit stop loss unless you don't really, or you have not learned it to the maximum to understand how it does. So price rarely hits stop loss in BBMA. Okay, so we can see here price before the news, it has closed below the EMA 50 in the third time frame. So that clearly meant that whatever was going to come, it is not a buy in the next news. All right, it was higher chance that price would scoop down. All right, and now that's what actually happened when the news was released at 3:30 exactly. Price moved down drastically for about 60 pips, because the news that was released was actually, you can see it was all good for this pair USD currency. That means gold, since it is XAU USD, since the news is good for the currency USD, that means that it had to sell. Okay, it had to go down. All right, it doesn't matter why it goes down for, it could even go down for a few seconds or a few minutes. Okay, and then maybe change the direction. So it is not a guarantee that it will continue going in the same direction just because you had no, please, this is a short term, it is a short term indicator. Okay, so price when the news was released at 3:30, it proved to be good for USD, and that means that USD had to sell for about 60 pips, gold had to sell about 60 pips downwards. And remember, for us, with respect to our strategy, we have been only waiting for price to give us a hint that now it is ready to move in our direction. Okay, so that's why it has now tapped into our H4 zone, that lower zone there. Right, so for those who entered the QM, the stop loss will have for sure been hit already. Okay, so price now down here, it has formed an extreme that is in our third time frame, and even if we shifted to our second time frame, we would still find it that price has also rejected the EMA 50 right into our zone. This is our zone, H4 zone entry. Okay, remember the H4 zone that we initiated after we saw momentum in the higher time frame. So our thing was only to wait patiently. That is the thing which moves people, is that they don't have patience. They can't wait because they've seen a small signal or sign. Actually, people move by signs. They end up making losses. Okay, so right after price has made an extreme, the candle has closed for 330, the one which started at 330 up to 45 minutes. There is where we enter. We said our target can be the previous mahi or the previous low. Okay, so for us, we enter our trade, and then we can risk, even if we risked about 35 pips, that's enough, because now we are sure that price is about to reverse, because we have seen the extreme in the third time frame, and then which is in line with the initial direction of H1. So now when we play the candle slowly, and then we see what happened next. We see that price in a few minutes actually hit our TP. Okay, so in other words, the news release was only to fulfill our conditions for us to enter. Okay, it was only fulfilling our conditions for us to enter. So we had to enter on the next candle at a low risk. Okay, you can see price just instead continued going up and up and up and up. Okay, so that's the code REE. Okay, which is so common when it comes to news. Okay, so in other words, the news only for this case, it is not as always. Okay, for this case, it only came to fulfill our conditions, that we have a re-entry in the first time frame, we had a re-entry, we had a rejection of the EMA 50 in our H1 or M30. Okay, and then for M15 we have our also rejection, or our third rejection, and then it is after that extreme that price shoot up. Okay, shoot up vigorously and then continued moving. Okay, so that is how the code REE is done. Okay, the first time frame we have an entry, second extreme, and even the third we have extreme. This code is common always during news time. Okay, but it can also happen even in absence of news. Okay, it is not a guarantee that it always has to occur during the news time. Alright guys, that's all I had for you today. I've told you guys on how the code REE works, and how you could actually use it to your advantage to trade the news. Okay, so guys, I love you so much. Kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel, like and share, and also comment. Till we meet in another video, love you.